Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jay.
And I'm Deb.
Welcome to Real People
Real stories.
Raw.
Raw.
It is Sunday afternoon on the west coast of the United States. Good afternoon, almost evening for you. I believe tonight we turn back our clocks. Is that right, Debbie?
Yes, it is.
You turn back your clock by an hour as well up there in Canada?
Yeah, we sure do.
So this will be the first time, and I don't think we turn back the clock out here in Arizona. So it was brought to my attention today. So that's kind of cool. While we're waiting for our special guest, Emily, to come on, I just thought it would be a good opportunity. I wanted to welcome those in the community that are here live with us. Cortez, good to see you. Welcome to the show this evening, Daphne. Welcome to
Hi, Daphne.
Daphne, must be someone you know from up north.
Yeah.
So, are you still in the fall there, or has winter hit you yet?
Oh, we have snow. We have a lot of snow yesterday. It just kept on coming, but it's starting to warm up.
How much snow did you get?
Oh, probably about 6 inches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Is this your first snowfall of the season?
Nope. We've had snow about a month ago, but it went away really fast.
Right on. Right on. We got some new guests that have joined us this afternoon. John Thaddeus Fiore is on the show with us. Welcome, John. And my mom, welcome, Mom, coming in from Boynton Beach, Florida. And of course, we have Cortez. Madeline Tamer is here. Madeline, hey, I'm not sure. Assad, welcome to the show as well. Feel free to let us know what state or country you are joining us from today. I'd love to hear that. And John, I don't think, see, there's just a perception on yourself. You think you can start trouble, but I don't think that John starts trouble. I think John knows how to kind of bring trouble back down to a state of serenity, gratitude, and love. There's no love. There's no trouble in love. There's only trouble when we're not living coming from a love and kind place. So that's where we get into trouble.
I got my shirt. Do you see?
I do. So what does that shirt say? Can you say it out loud for those of us that have a
Yeah.
problem?
Well, you and I were talking before we did the first show, and you had said something about what you learned about choosing to feel, reveal, and then heal. And
Yeah.
as we were talking, I'm like, we need to make a shirt. And you made the shirt. So you sent it out to me, and I choose to feel, chose to reveal, and now I'm choosing to heal. And it is a choice. And it's helped me tremendously. Just wearing the shirt helps me.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So it made it up to Canada. It took some time to make it through customs. I just today had a moment of concern that perhaps I'd have to make a call and figure out why they think this shirt needs to be stuck in at the border. But it made it to you, and it looks great on you. I chose to wear compassion today for the show. I actually had a different shirt on this morning when I was doing my spiritual practice. I was wearing Choose Heal Mind, Body, Soul, and all of these clothing line can be picked up at chooseapparel.com, which is an online store. Lots of choices that we launched about 3 weeks ago. I want to welcome Assad coming in from Belgium. We got John Fiore coming in from the Jersey Shore area of New Jersey. We've got my mom coming in from the state of Florida. We got you coming in from Alberta. And our guest who are waiting to join us she's coming in from, I believe, from Edmonton as well. John says, Jay, I want to hug you. I think you just did. I feel it. John, you're going to get me all teary-eyed, and we haven't really even got this show going here. John says, I need a big smile, Debs. Cortez says, I wear my gratitude shirt, and it makes me feel so good. John, Cortez, that just warms my heart. It's interesting he says that, because I've shared this before when part of the vision of Launching the Line was that we found that when we would wear a particular T-shirt, the affirmation on the shirt was a great reminder of how I wanted to behave that day. And it was just a subtle way. Every time you pass a mirror or you glance down and you see the affirmation on your chest, it's an opportunity to remind myself of how I want to behave today, how I want to think today, how I want to look at life today. And it's also great for people that I meet, strangers and people that I know in my circle of life that see me wearing it. It's a gentle reminder to teach them how we want to be treated, as well as perhaps maybe how they want to treat themselves. And so, it's a gift that we give away when we wear it. And it's a gift and it's a blessing that we receive when we wear it. And so, Linda, Assad says, can I hug too? Assad, you can hug, and welcome to the show. Linda Mills says, having had time, feeling after my mom passed, I'm lost. Linda, I'm sorry to hear that you are going through this grieving process. Grieving is just a process, and there's no right way, and I don't believe there's, for the most part, a wrong way to do it. We all do it on our own timeline, our own time frame. I would have to say, from my experience of working with clients as a coach over the past couple of years, I've worked with a couple of clients on grief coaching, and the one thing I will say that I think is hurtful to ourselves is if we put ourselves in a place of isolation and we don't seek help and we don't reach out for help. It's when we're alone for an extended period of time, I think that's where we get into a slippery slope that can be very, very, very unhealthy for us. And so the best advice or suggestion I can give is, as we go through the grieving process, is to not isolate, but to reach out for help, whether it be a professional, whether it be a friend, whether it be a relative, someone that you feel you can begin to trust and to share your feelings, your thoughts, and to maybe get some insight, some intuition and wisdom that can help guide you along. And so my thoughts and prayers are with you, Linda, as you navigate this very personal period in your life. John says, Debs, keep the smile. Oh, I'm coming there. All right.
I want to say hi to Dave Elger. Thanks for watching, Dave. This is Rita's father.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Dave, very nice to meet you.
He's an amazing human.
We've actually got Madeline coming in from Australia. Hi, Madeline. Welcome to the live broadcast this afternoon. And we are waiting for our guest to come on. We actually had her on the show. We had Emily on for about 30 minutes before the show. And then she ran into some technical difficulties, and we are waiting for her to come back on. But however, what we could do, Deb, is perhaps maybe share a little bit about how your week was, and if there were any opportunities or growth lessons for you that unfolded through your healing journey.
Well, this week was a big week for me. It was my first day back to the office after being off for 6 months. I work from home, so I don't normally have to go in. I go in once a month. So it was a big challenge for me. I wore the shirt. It helped a lot. And I also was able to bring on, surprise my manager, because she has supported me through this whole journey, and surprised her with an amazing local artist named Martin Kerr. And he came and sang her his new single called You're Amazing. That was a huge, awesome surprise, and it helped me gain more courage to go in. I don't think I would have gone in if I hadn't had his backing. And it's relying on community. The lesson that I've learned is to rely on community, and ask for help when you need it, and reach out. It's so easy to isolate, I find, especially when you're in pain. You don't want to put that on other people, but the right people, they're wanting to help you. You just have to reach up and say, hey, I need some help, right?
Yes. Yeah, no doubt. Whether we're dealing with the grieving process or were in pain, walking through some type of trauma or wound that we've been impacted by, I think the only way to truly heal is it's almost impossible. I know today that it would have been impossible for me to get to where I'm at today if I hadn't reached out for help. And I'd like to, with that, welcome Emily to the studio. Can you hear us, Emily?
Yes. Hi, guys.
Hi, Emily.
Wow. Wow. It's so good to see you. Welcome to the show. Real people, real stories, raw. We had, Deb and I had an opportunity to just kind of do a quick check-in. She shared what happened with her this week. She was the first week back to work. And I shared yesterday a very long share, live from the Pinnacle Peak, what unfolded for me this past week. And so I'm going to withhold that if you don't mind. I'd like to really just introduce you, Emily, and let's get this show started. I want to thank you for joining us on the show live. I know that you were really looking forward to coming on the show, and then you ran into some technical difficulties, and what a metaphor for life. It's just like
Yes.
we had the test yesterday. It took us about an hour to get you set up and get you into the studio, and then you were on with us today, and then you ran into a snag, and you may want to lower the volume on your other phone or turn it off. It sounds like we're getting some feedback. But, just like when we think we've got everything prepared and we did all homework up front, life shows up. The unexpected happens.
And we dealt with it, right, Jay?
How do we get through it? Do we just throw up our hands and throw in a towel and say, screw it, and go to just retreat, or do we figure out how to work through it? And at what point do we surrender? At what point do we say, you know what, I've done the best I can. I don't know what to do at this point, other than sometimes it is what we need to do, which is just to take a break, just step away, pause, and when we come back refreshed, sometimes the second time around, the answers come. The solutions come. We just got to sometimes know when it's time to just say, I surrender, or say, as John Fiore probably says back east, at least when I was a kid, you used to say, uncle. Now, you may be too young to understand what uncle means. Do you know what that means, Emily? Have you heard that saying?
I come from an Italian family, so uncle was used very often.
All right. So in any event, enough about Debbie and I. Welcome to the show, and why don't we just invite you to just start wherever you'd like to start, and at some point, Debbie and I will interject when we feel it's appropriate. And welcome to the show.
All right. Well, thank you guys for having me. Hello, Payson. Hello, world. Hello, everybody. My name is Emily Morton. I am a self-taught pastry chef and owner at Love'em's Bikery. I enjoy longboarding, biking, and I love where I live. I have two amazing sons. I have an 8-year-old and a 15-year-old, Cashton and Raven. I also have my English Bull Mastiff. Her name is Jezebella. I lived here in Payson now for 26 years. I've had a really, I guess, adventurous life, you want to say. So that's me now, and I would like to tell you where I've came from, where I've been, and I'm going to come back to actually where I am now, because that's what's really important, is being present and being where we are now.
So basically, you're inviting the community to buckle their seats, because you're going to
please grab your superhero cape.
And the flotation device is above.
Yeah, you're going to take us on a little journey here, and so we're going to hold your hand, and we're with you all the way.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys, and my heart is full right now because I have so much support right now. So I was born in Watertown, New York in 1987 with 5 siblings. My parents struggled with poverty, marital problems, and drug addiction, and mental illness. At the age of 5, I was sexually abused by my mother's boyfriend. I never reported the abuse. That year, I was misdiagnosed with ADHD. I was over-medicated as a child. At the age of 9, my family moved to Arizona, which was a big culture shock. Being Dutch, German, and Irish Italian, Arizona was a big move for us. I was an outcast at school. School was very difficult. At the age of 12, I told my parents about the abuse that had happened to me as a small child. My parents chose to take matters in their own hands and never sought professional help for me, which I really needed at the time. At the age of 12, that year was very traumatic for me. I attempted suicide after telling my parents what had happened to me at 5. Since the pharmaceuticals did not help me, I started self-medicated with street drugs to escape the pain I was enduring. I sobered up once I was 16 when I became pregnant with Raven. At the age of 18, I graduated high school, went straight into medical school. My mother said, "You're going to be a great nurse." I was following her script instead of making my own script. I went to school to be an OBGYN, MD. I got into 5 semesters of nursing. As the abuse from my childhood started to surface more often, my life became harder to manage and school became more difficult. I replaced the drugs with poor relationship choices, like the one similar to my childhood. I was barely hanging on. I was overworked. The people I involved myself with did not have the best interest in mine, or even their own. That was really not support. I didn't have any support at this point. My social cycle became so grimy and so toxic that I could not even see what was in front of me. I grew further away from my support as I was hospitalized again and again for mental health problems that were undiagnosed and under-medicated. This time, I was properly diagnosed when getting out with PTSD and bipolar 1 disorder. But having a proper diagnosis was not enough to handle the reality of what was really going on. I needed more support and education. My social groups, family and friends alike, took no part in helping me recover or move forward. Multiple hospitalizations and still no support from family. I started hiding in my house and became a very agoraphobic, meaning I didn't leave the house for weeks and months on end. I'd forget to bathe. I couldn't do my daily house chores. It was a chore. I started hiding more and more. But that did not make me safe. It only provided a safe place for another predator similar to my youth to enter once again. Because I was weak, and they knew that when I was weak. After being twisted away from people and stability, I was then separated from my family and people who grounded me. My abuser took over for 3 months of constant abuse that turned into 3 years. I endured many months and years of abusive relations with this man while obtaining full-time employment and full-time nursing school. I then became pregnant once again with my abuser pulling the strings of my social life. And after months of manipulation, I felt totally vulnerable and alone. On the way to deliver my second child, I was in a rollover car accident caused by my abuser because I told him I was going to tell on him. He tried to kill us. I told him I was going to tell on him, and our life became.
She dropped out, but
Yeah, I see that.
so powerful.
Hmm. Well, yeah, how do we pick that up from here? What do I mean, this is our story. This is not my story, obviously. We all have our own story. And, just when you think, it's so easy when we dealing with our own traumas and our own wounds, we think like ours is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember walking into some of my first 12-step meetings for some of my own addictions. And I listened to some of these people share their stories, like what they had endured and growing up in either an abusive home, domestic violence, addictions, alcohol, drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd sit there and listen. And I'd go right to God, I thought I had it bad.
And I find it's nothing about comparing the stories either. It's just being able to first of all show up and share, but also show up and listen. I find listening and having someone hear it just helps you to heal just by being. So we have to show up and share, but we also have to show up to listen.
Yeah, I agree. It's not about comparison as much as where I'm going with this is that when we're in the thick of our pain, when we're in the thick of our trauma, our PTSD, our wounds, in that moment, we feel like it can't get any worse, or for us, it's as bad as it is because it's ours. It's our pain.
Yep.
And just when we are in that space of darkness, the darkness of the soul, and sometimes we hear someone else's story, it can put into, it's what I say, a little bit of a perspective that we're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
There are other people that have a story to share that have either walked through the pain or in the process of the healing. And so we're so much stronger when we're together,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to when we're attempting to try to navigate through pain by ourselves. And I got to tell you, I've been a coach now for a couple of years, and so many people that think they're ready to get the help and they really want to be well and heal, they don't stick around for too long. They jump out pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part that it's very sad, because what I know is that from my experience, I could not heal my mind, body, or soul by isolating, by being by myself. I had to surround myself with people, like-minded people that wanted what I wanted, either from the standpoint of they were walking through their own healing journey, or professionals, or a combination of both, or spiritual mentors, people that have got way more enlightenment than I may have at any given time. And so it's at times it's frustrating as a professional, because you just want people to just stay with it, just stay with this healing process, because as much as you think you're in pain, when you're not working on yourself and healing, and then you enter into the healing process and you feel like, God, it's painful, and God, I got another session today and I just don't feel like talking about it. The reality is that we don't heal until we talk about it. We don't. Yeah. The process of healing does not take place until we begin to reveal. We have to reveal in order to heal. And it's just a simple model, but it works.
And when it happened when I was raped, I went into survival mode almost instantly. I didn't stay in victim mode. I was in survival mode as soon as that officer did not take my statement seriously and basically said it was my fault. I went into survival mode and said, what you did is wrong, and how you're treating me is wrong. And I revealed it almost immediately. So I didn't even know that there was a process, but I was on that path of healing just by just by being able to reveal how he treated me was wrong. And be able to share that and have other people say, you know what, yeah, that was wrong of him. He treated you like that. That's not right. It shows another level of compassion. Exactly. It shows another level of compassion, right?
You know, one of the things that stand out to me in this moment as we were listening to Emily's story, and it's interesting how, you know, when we weren't live, her energy was very different than when we came on live. I don't know if you felt it or noticed it. She probably was somewhat nervous going live. She's got such a powerful story to tell, and hopefully she'll make it back on. If she doesn't, we'll reschedule her. But you know what really struck me as I was listening to her story, and it's the second time I've heard it because we just heard it 30 minutes prior. But you know, one of the questions I have for you, Debby, is so we have this platform where we invite guests to come on, women and perhaps men that have encountered some type of abuse, whether it be domestic or sexual or mental or emotional, physical, to come on and share the story and where they're at in the healing process. So, but my question to you is what resources are you aware of that can be available in the local communities, perhaps that you have seeked out or that you are involved in today or have been in the past, at least up in Canada? I'm sure there are sister affiliations, organizations available in the United States.
The first thing I did when it happened, I knew that I would need counseling immediately. I needed to talk about it. I needed to deal with it. I went to this amazing counseling. It's called Saffron. It's in Sherwood Park, close to where I live. It's just outside of Edmonton. I live in Edmonton now, but it's called Saffron, and I immediately sought that out. It wasn't. I did a couple sessions. I thought I was okay, and then I started just kind of regressing and turning inward. I went to acupuncture, but it wasn't for the sexual assault healing. It wasn't for it was just because my shoulder was hurting before I had to go into surgery. But I told her what had happened, and she says she can heal me and help me heal through that trauma in my body because emotions get stuck in, and she could have physically helped it, and that really helped. Hi, Emily.
Hi, guys.
Emily, I'm gonna invite you just to take a deep breath or two. Just relax for a moment. I think you've earned that right now. What I'm going to ask you while you're breathing here, is your Wi-Fi turned off or turned on right now?
It's actually my phone, and it had a full charge in it. This is like freak of nature happening the last few days. I swear. And I even got on another phone and it didn't work. So it's like, I need to get my story out, and this happens every time I need to get it out. I'm sorry, guys. All right. I guess where I left off was the rollover car accident caused by my abuser after I told him I was gonna tell on him. I guess the lives make me a little bit more anxious. I do them like 1-minute intervals to make me feel good, but I've never done this before, so I do have anxiety, guys. So
it's okay.
If you feel like I'm a little tense, I am, but okay. I got supporters out there. But
and you're doing amazing.
Emily?
I do want to tell you that you all are amazing, because taking on something serious like this isn't what people want to do. So we all have superhero capes on right now.
Oh, thank you. You do
we're
too.
Safe.
Emily, you are in a very safe zone right here. And I am so proud of you for, first of all, having the awareness that you are having a moment of anxiety. And I suffered with significant anxiety for 21 years, and I was over-medicated for those full 21 years by multiple psychiatrists who thought that was the best way to treat my anxiety. But I'm not here to share about that. What I want to say to you, though, is that I understand how you feel right now.
Mhm.
And I can tell you that just when I'm able to have the awareness and just put it out there that I'm feeling anxious right now, it takes a lot of the power away from it. And it
Yeah,
allows it to like almost like be released. And I don't know if you have experienced that or not, but I'm giving you permission right now to just let it go.
Mhm.
It's just the three of us here, and anyone that's out there listening, you know, they're listening because they're here to support you and they love you, and they love Debbie, and so we are a community of loving, kind people that are not here to judge, but just here to support you and allow you to have your voice be heard in this moment.
thank you, Jay. Thank you, Deb.
You're welcome.
Are you ready to
I'm ready, guys.
take your time and let's keep going.
All right. Well, something beautiful came out of something so traumatic. I delivered my healthy baby boy that same day of the rollover. Within days after I was hiding out for my safety, I went to Texas to my sister's with a brand new baby because my abuser was on the run, still looking for us. At the time that my abuser was on the run, I contacted the law enforcement, someone that I had really had a strong connection with. I used to babysit for this detective, and I felt like he was somebody I could trust to tell this to, so I did. My abuser was finally caught and incarcerated for 8 years for unrelated crimes, not for what he did to me and my son, leaving me and my children actually having a place to start hoping and thinking there was actually a new life waiting ahead, which there is. And I thought that was the last of my traumatic events, but it wasn't. Then when I turned 24, the unimaginable happened. The detective who I was on the case that I've known for years, the police officer who I trusted, came in my home and raped me, taking advantage of everything that I had told him about. The moral injury was worse than any traumatic event that happened, because here was all my trust and out there, like, please get this criminal, when he was the actual criminal. I lost my career shortly after. I lost my home. I almost lost my kids. I then became homeless with 2 children on the side of the road. I was hopeless. I had nothing. This was me without support. I would like everyone to now take a deep breath, because this is where hope prevails. This is where God comes and saves me. After many dark days, 4 years worth of dark days, a woman in the community reached out to me. Her name was Rebecca. She saw me crying one day outside of the house next to hers. She asked me if she could give me a hug. I told her no, but I would talk to her. She told me she'd like to.
We're going to try it one more time.
Hi, guys. Am I here?
Well, she's
Yes,
not.
you are. You're here.
Okay.
You see her?
All right.
Rebecca, she gave you a hug and you're talking. You were talking to her. That's where you are. Oh, she's out again. Oh, darn.
Were you able to see her, Dad?
Yeah, I can see her. She's
Can
back.
you guys see me?
I can see you. Yes.
I don't see her, so can you hear her?
I can hear her and see her, but not on. Yeah, there. You might be able to see her now.
Can you guys
No.
see me?
I can see you.
All right.
Yeah, but if I can't, then the community, I'm not sure if the community can.
Do you want to jump off and then come back on?
Hold on.
She's out again.
Yeah.
Okay. How about now, guys?
Yeah, I do not see her.
I can see you, and I can see her on Facebook soon. Yeah, I can see her on Facebook now.
Okay, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Jay, can you?
No, I cannot see Emily.
This is
Emily,
so
I'm going
strange,
to
guys.
ask you to jump off and try to come in one more time.
Okay.
Because it's not a good connection. And also, if you could take yourself off of Wi-Fi, Let's try this without Wi-Fi. Okay? Well, obviously, she could hear me. I couldn't hear her or see her. Wow, this is, this is somewhat painful, but it's got to be difficult right now. She's trying to share her story, and she keeps getting interrupted. And at some point, we may want to invite Emily to come back when we're able to figure out what the technical difficulties are, and have her come back and be a guest on the show, and really come from the beginning and have some flow. Because right now this interruption is
it's hard.
It's got to be very difficult for Emily, and we're 42 minutes into the show, and so maybe that may be the best thing we can do. Before Emily jumped on last go round, you were in the middle. We were talking about what resources are out there for women and or men that have endured some type of abuse in their life. And if you want to jump back into that.
Yeah, I found that acupuncture really helped me. I had stopped dreaming. I couldn't dream. I didn't know I couldn't dream until I went to acupuncture, and she said that she could help me with it. I started crying because I didn't realize that I could actually get physical help for my emotional problems. I thought it was just talking about it. I thought that's all I needed was to talk about it. But the day after that night, I started to be able to dream. So I kind of went back to her, and that really helped me to heal, realizing it's not just me. It's actually a physical issue that I needed to deal with, not just emotional. John, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm sorry.
P.R.A.
Yes, he helped me. He showed me how to do tapping, and man, did that ever help me to let go of the trauma. Anytime I'm stressed or just a little bit, even just have a negative thought, I tap, and we can self-soothe. And I think that knowing that we can do that on our own, and we don't have to live in the pain by ourselves, just knowing that we can help ourselves really has helped me be able to cope with anxiety and cope with stress and know that it gets better.
Have you tried any, you said you tried acupuncture, you've done some tapping work with John.
Yoga too.
What's that?
Yoga as well. I've done yoga, and that just really helps me connect to my body and my mind and my soul all together, because when you're in trauma, you're surviving. So I think you're just living in your head, and you're disconnected from your body and your soul. And I think yoga kind of really helps you connect your mind, because it's like a meditation, but you're being physical too. So yoga has really helped me.
You know what I have found for myself, which is pretty much what you're describing, is, there's a saying, desperate people take desperate measures. And I don't, usually that there's a negative connotation behind that statement. At least that was my perspective of that. But here's the truth for me, is that desperate people, the category that I fell in was when I hit my rock bottom, I was desperate because I was in so much pain. I was bankrupt on all four pillars: the emotional, the mental, the physical, and spiritual. And I was so desperate, I was willing to try just about anything that anybody said that they felt may help me, give me some sense of relief, some sense of healing, some sense of calm, some sense of not normalcy, but just I wanted to just change everything in my life, because my life was out of control, and I pretty much had lost everything in my life on all levels at that time 3 years ago. And so I was willing to try so many different holistic modalities.
Me too.
I did some energy crystal light healing work twice. I worked with a medium. I've done a lot of acupuncture. I've worked with essential oils. I've gone to spiritual centers. I've done meditation. I've done yoga. Everything I'm mentioning is everything I had never done in my life before. And, that's just some actions that I took. That's not all of the actions that I took, but those are just some of them. And why I'm sharing this, Debbie, is because, what you have said is basically I'm just echoing, which is like, when we get desperate enough and we want relief and we want to be well, and we're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, we are willing to go to any length and every length to get relief. I'm not talking about the unhealthy relief, because that's the world I lived in for 54 years of my life. I'm talking about healthy relief, gaining and understanding that there are so many healthy tools available, resources available to us that can help navigate us through our darkest days, that can take us from living in the darkness of the soul to the lightness. When we start to, for me, it was coming in with an open mind. If I came into any one of those moments or experiences with a naysayer's attitude of, there's no way this is going to work, or that's not for me, that's for the birds, or this stuff, this is bull crap, there was probably a good chance it wouldn't have worked, because our words become our reality. Our context becomes our contrast.
Yep.
And it kind of sets the path for either us living in coming to the space of enlightenment and lightness, or we stay in darkness. And so for me, I was just hopeful that something, somewhere, somehow was going to help me.
Yeah.
And I've taken that same approach on all four pillars. On the physical side, I've had significant physical injuries and diagnoses that I've had to plow through and work through and be willing to shred, and emotional and mental and spiritual. But in each one of those categories, I have been willing to be open-minded to drop my old belief systems, because my old belief systems had gotten me into trouble anyway.
I was gonna say, Dr. Philia, how's that working for you, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I had to be willing to unlearn.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's not necessary. It is learning, but it's being willing to deprogram what you thought worked before, or what you defaulted back to. Like, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but for me, when it happened, I had just gotten my surgery for gastric bypass 4 days after I had been raped. I didn't tell anybody. I turned to marijuana to take care of the pain, and I ended up being really dependent on that. And I thought it was just the pain from the surgery was helping, but it was blocking my emotional pain. There we go. But I've learned to really be able to cope healthy now, and there's different ways to do it.
Yes.
Emily,
yeah.
Hi guys.
Welcome back.
I'm so glad you're back. I missed you.
What I'd like to do is I'd like to acknowledge some people in the community. I want to first thank those that are live and with us today. There's a lot of comments, a lot of questions, a lot of support. I want to welcome Sadie. Sadie, hopefully I'm pronouncing it right, either Spears or Spires is coming in from Scotland, I believe. We have a guest coming in from Australia. Nikki King says, I isolated because I was tired of humanity, but I do find it difficult to reintegrate into society, and I worry that I've lost my social skills. Linda Mills says, my dog is the only thing keeping me sane here. What I've learned is there's so many different tools, whether it be a hug from a dog, a hug from a friend, support from someone in a community. Sometimes that's all we need, is just a little bit of help, a smile from someone else. Tanya says, don't forget to take short, deep breaths. Deep breathing is a really healthy tool. And I find that I'm not real good at that. I'm naturally a shallow breather, and sometimes it can get me into trouble. Cortez, referring to Emily, he says she's bold and brave and beautiful. And so Emily says, yoga has helped me. Meditation, support, education, and understanding. It sounds like Emily Morton was listening to the show while she was trying to get back on. And, Emily, I want to do Emily is because I think it would be, at this point, I don't think it makes sense to have you start or jump back in where you were. Because of the time restraints that we have for this afternoon. What I'd like to do, I think it would make sense to invite you to come back into the studio on another day, if that's okay with you. So that way we could start start over and allow you to be in flow. And right now it's kind of you're in, you're out. And I think it's unfair to you. I think you've probably, if you're okay with that, how do you feel right now?
I am totally okay with that. I would love that. And I would actually feel less anxiety with the phone not dropping every 5 minutes.
So perhaps just come up with another way to come into the studio through a laptop, and we'll do a test run, and let's put a date together. Debbie, maybe you and Emily can come up with the next date that works for us three. And
Emily, where are you right now? Where are you located?
I'm in Payson, Arizona.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm not too far away from Jay.
Okay. Oh, that's wonderful.
About 2 hours. Yeah.
You might notice some offers on the chat, and definitely reach out to John Vior, because he has helped me so much with the trauma and tapping. He told me to pick a small little childhood event, and I decided to go all out and pick my rape event, and it has really healed me. Like, I think we did maybe a half hour session. I'm not sure. It might have been an hour, but man, take him up on his offer if you have get a chance to.
He actually says, I will teach you to tap, Emily, no charge. And I posted something. Thank you, Tanya, so much. She says, Reiki is what saved me, along with prayers and affirmations. And Tanya just put it out here. She said, I am a survivor from sexual abuse from my father. And Tanya, perhaps if you'd like to reach out to Debbie or myself on private messenger, perhaps there'd be a time when you'd like to come into the studio and share your story and share where you're at in your healing journey. This platform was born for the basis, the motivation behind it is to invite women and men to come on that have endured some type of abuse in their life. It doesn't have to be sexual. It can be, there's many other types of abuses that have impacted our lives. And it's a place to come on, to share your story, to share and where you're at in your healing journey. Because the intention is if there's one person in a studio or in the audience that hears something that resonates with them, that actually helps them either get motivated or change their trajectory of their life and where they're at in their pain and in their healing, then we have achieved our goal, which is to help other people in the healing process. And so Tanya said, of course she will, and I thank you for that. We've got about 5 minutes left. Emily, I would like to invite you to share, since we kind of got choppy, we went into some choppy seas, it was the perfect storm, but you survived. One more time, you were here, but we want to get you back when you got a full tank of fuel. Right now you're probably are close to empty, and it's understandable, and I honor you and I respect you for not just giving up and coming back and being in a studio in this moment. But I would like to invite you to perhaps maybe leave us today with some parting words. We said, buckle your seatbelts, we're going to go back and then we're going to come forward. If there's something that you are willing to share with us that perhaps can help somebody that may be suffering today and struggling with what to do with what they know, that they maybe have not come forward with, or they're not sure what to do, or they just don't know what to do because they're just paralyzed in pain. And it looks like we may have lost Emily one more time. And so, Emily, I'm gonna try it one more time, and if we can't get her on, Debbie, I'm gonna maybe ask you to. Yeah, she's frozen. Debbie, maybe you could piggyback and respond and.
Emily has said right now, pain is real, but so is hope. You are amazing. Love yourself. That's what she's chatting and saying right now. And I completely agree with her. The pain is real, but the hope of not just getting better, but like helping other people. I find what saved me, I was stuck in my house for 2 years. I couldn't leave. I used Skip the Dishes. I spent all my money on Skip the Dishes. I couldn't leave my house. I was that scared. What really saved me was Jerry from the Humans Edmonton Experience had invited me to go out and help homeless people and give them care packages. And I brought my son with me, and we went out, and in the act of giving, I was able to then receive. I was able to feel how much gratitude they had, and they barely had anything. They were so happy for just a toothbrush. They're just so happy. So I think giving back when you're in your darkest, you can give back. Even if it's just a smile, you get out of your own head, because you get so trapped in your own trauma, your own pain, which is understandable. You're okay to be in that pain. It's okay to be there. But what's not okay for your healing journey is to get stuck there and lost, right? So giving back really did save me. Man, I met some amazing people, and you see them, and you just so much compassion for them.
So if I to paraphrase you, it's all about, we have a choice, right? Mm-hmm. And the choice is that we could stay in pain, and we know how to do that. We isolate, we're paralyzed, and we stay inward, and mm-hmm. we're just holding on to all of it, and we don't have a place to release it in a healthy way. Yeah. And one of the tools that you just mentioned, to me, it's just another tool, a beautiful tool, is going out, stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Being of service to others, you know.
Stepping out of your comfort zone was big, because it's hard. Whatever
that looks like, you know. Yeah. For some people, it's showing up at a shelter. For some people, it's showing up and volunteering somewhere, somehow, even if it's at a hospital, even if it's a veterans, a VA hospital, somewhere, showing up at a homeless shelter.
I think showing up is the biggest thing.
It's just showing up, it's just showing up for a friend that's in pain.
Yeah.
And it just works. It just works. You are an absolute beautiful soul, Debbie.
Thank you.
Part of that, I believe today, is you wouldn't be where you're at if you had continued to stay in your home like you had for 2 years. At some point, you were willing to step into your discomfort. And by stepping into your discomfort, you were able to eventually start the true healthy healing mm-hmm. process for yourself. And look at where you're at today,
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm a photographer, and what got me out was my camera. I was able to hide behind it. I was raped on the 17th, and then my best friend was having her wedding on the 19th, and I was her photographer, and it was all her family. It was just actually quite a beautiful, everybody knew what happened, but I was there, and I showed up for her, and I was able to see the beauty beyond the pain. I was able to look for hope and look for beauty, look for love, and that is what healed me. Because I would have been stuck in my own pain if I didn't give back, and I was giving back, and just immediately I was able to give back. So I learned that lesson really, really quickly. And then I would take my camera for walks, and I would just one suggestion for everyone, just even everyone has a camera on their phone. If you're going through trauma or pain, go for a walk and look for something that you can be grateful for, or some kind of beauty, and take a picture of it. Go look for hope. When you're looking for hope, you already have the thought in your head that it exists, and you believe that it's there. So look for hope and try to take a picture of it.
I want to thank you, Deb, for sharing all that you did today on this show. And I want to just acknowledge, I'm going to close the show out with my own thoughts right now. One is that you said, you learned the lessons through that experience of, by giving back, it really helped you. What came to my mind was, there's not a greater medicine than that. You gave yourself the healthy medicine. It wasn't a prescription. It was just, you just put yourself out there. You came from that space of love, and you showed up at your friend's wedding. And that was a huge aha moment for you. You had a moment of, almost like a moment of clarity and awakening, going, wow, like, this is how I could feel when I just show up for somebody else. And I love that. There was a second point I wanted to make, but if it comes back to me, it will, but it's not what's most important. What's most important is that no matter what, that we all understand that we are loving children of God, all of us. We weren't born by man or woman. We were brought into this universe by a power greater than ourselves, and He loves us all the same. And when we start the healing process, and we begin to understand that our souls, we've just been damaged, we've been hurt, and it is possible that we can heal. We can heal our mind, we can heal our body, and we definitely can heal our soul. We just have to be willing to show up and do the work. And when we do the work, the miracles begin to unfold, and then we get to give it away, like you are doing today. And so I want to thank you for showing up in your life and showing up in my life, so that we could do this show and bring guests on like Emily and Rita. Last week's show, we had over 3.2 thousand people that showed up. I think we're just under 3.3 thousand people that have clicked or watched some or all of the show with Rita Marie. And it was an absolutely beautiful show. And, we wouldn't be here today if you hadn't had the courage to step into your discomfort. And I so love you for that.
Thank you, Jay.
And for being my partner in this show called Real People, Real Stories, Raw. So next week we have a show scheduled. It is Sunday at 3.
Yeah.
Correct? And who is our guest going to be next week?
It's going to be Donna. I'm a photographer, and I showed up for her, and she showed up for us, and I will be able to, we'll put the story in the link there, her story, and it's quite amazing. She's an amazing writer. She's a baker. She is lost over 130 pounds, and we'll be able to show her raw story, and hopefully she'll be able to show up and start to heal. Beautiful.
Well, I look forward to the show, and I do have to jump. I've got to be somewhere this late afternoon for a commitment. But thank you for those that have joined us live. If you didn't and you catch us on a replay, that's okay too. It doesn't matter if we get here early, if we get here late. All that matters is that we get here.
Yeah, and we're never late, never early.
Never late, we're never early. We're just on time. And feel free to comment, ask any questions, even on a replay. Let us know where you are coming in from. We'd love to know, so that we can acknowledge you and thank you for showing up. Next week, next Sunday, 3 p.m. West Coast time, Pacific Standard Time, I should say. That's 6 p.m. East Coast time. Real People, Real Stories, Raw. Thanks for joining us today, and have a beautiful weekend, what's left of it.
Bye, everybody. Love ya.
Love you too.